gentlemen, here with Madison Woodward, the lovely Madison Woodward, and the lovely Lee Woodward. We are live. How are you this morning, guys?
Great.
Very well.
Great, thank you.
Waking up with the Woodwards. Hey, and it's not the first time, Lee, is it?
Definitely not, no.
We might talk about that afterwards. Now, this morning, guys, we want to have a bit of a chat with you and qualify, first of all, who these guys are if you don't already know them. Lee is one of the leading real estate coaches in the country and has been dedicated to the industry for probably almost 30 years now. Geez, time's rolled on, Lee. Unbelievable. And I have to say, his lovely daughter who's following in his footsteps in real estate, a bit like I followed in my dad's footsteps in real estate. Welcome, Madison.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And also, again, to qualify what Lee does, I was having a chat with a really good friend of mine last night called Shad Hassan. And what Shad Hassan is of the agency in the Inner West. Used to be also a strong McGrath agent as well. Now, what he said about you, Lee, was that there is probably not another person in our real estate industry that has the in-depth talent, knowledge, connection, understanding and training methods that you have. I have never got a bigger rap on a human being than I got from Shad Hassan on you last night. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show. And guys, as we sort of move along, I think you'll see the hidden talents that Lee's got. And you know what, Lee, I did a ride with you in Thailand, and we spent a lot of time together. And you keep on surprising me. It's the depth of your knowledge is incredible.
Thank you. Now, I'm passionate about sales, and Shad, thank you for your lovely words. And someone like Shad Hassan's an interesting match for me in the way of, Shad's a good street player. He'll get to the end of that listing presentation and his famous close is, "Are you ready to put me to work?" And I think street speak, street talk, authenticity. Shad never tried to be that long, intelligent words, making people feel inferior. Playing at your groove at street level is a skill, and he could be one of the best in the country we've seen ever do that. But someone like Shad takes well to the words and the concepts because it feels natural. It doesn't feel textbook or American. It's just right down the barrel of the street where you need to be.
He's a legend. Now, tell me, what are you passionate about at the moment, the Woodwards?
I'm completely passionate about the sales process in its digitisation and what's happening. When you've been around selling for 30 years, and then obviously my father, very famous salesperson as well.
In the northern beaches of Sydney.
Yes, he was. Right here where we are today. He was a selling ninja of the northern beaches. But, if you look at his career, he just enjoyed serving people, no matter what he was selling. But coming from a family of salespeople, I've got
one
three
second.
brothers.
You're downplaying this. This man was the greatest salesman of cars in the world.
That is correct.
Bless him. He's recently passed, and RIP. But and the history of your family in the northern beaches is quite incredible. You number one in Red Face. Was it Red Faces? What was the... No, not Red Face.
It's actually New Faces.
New Faces.
Red Faces was the hey funny one. No, this was this is the real one.
This is the real one. So yeah, number one as a band. You've come from an amazing bloodline.
Yeah, very much so. So my mum and dad, both from Liverpool in England, used to go and watch the local band, which was called the Beatles. And my mum worked in Penny Lane. So interesting part of their life that they were a musical family and then got the four boys involved. We then hit the Australian circuit over here. I was 9 years of age when I was touring over here for the family band. And 3-4 nights a week, every RSL Leagues club you can imagine, we were touring. It's what we did as a family, which led us all to the stage. Every one of us have been on the stage since very early. So selling is a stage. It's just a different stage. It's a different audience. So my entire family, and now my daughter, has become sales professionals. My mum breeds sales professionals, and that is the Woodward story.
And your wife?
Very much so, and just
Rob's in the business as well.
Very much so.
Awesome. So tell us, so when you say you're passionate about digitization in sales, like people who aren't actually in real estate can really relate to this at the moment, because I think everyone's witnessing the change in the world. Hey, you know, where it used to be one guy eyeballing another guy in a car yard with amazing repertoire of words. That's really changed even in a car yard, never mind a real estate environment, where the car yard guys are all, you know, you used to be able to say, look, I'm not going to start talking in price until you come down to the car yard and we're eyeballing each other. You'd be out of business like that at the moment. It's so digitized now that people are just seeing the same car on the same websites, no matter what state they're in, making an offer, getting it accepted, and the car gets shifted over there. Digitization's changed that industry and changing every industry.
Yeah, I agree. But one of the blended connections there that I really like is selling as a transference of feelings. So when I look at the greats and the people that do it really well, they do have a connection. The digitization of selling still means I can look down the barrel of the camera of my iPhone to the purchaser or the vendor and bring that influence skill within the digitization and the depth of distance. I can be anywhere. So yesterday I had conversations with 5 states, London the night before, New York the night before that, and I'm still eyeball to eyeball with Zoom, and I still think your selling skills, your influence skills come in. But what a lot of salespeople have got to be careful of today, and I use the word careful, is to not just resist that and think, oh, well, I don't need to worry about that. The incredible Richard Bailey, I was watching a video of him the other morning, just in front of and Richard sells property. He's one of our senior agents in Tasmania, but he was just out the front of the house saying, this has come on the market. It's a 3-bedroom brick and tile home. It's coming on the market. Give me a call. I'm Richard Bailey. Speak soon. But I look at him and think, you modern, brilliant sales professional, you've now been eyeballed by thousands of people who think you wouldn't be on Facebook introducing properties, because quite often people think, oh, I'm too old for all this. You know, that's an excuse of attitude versus there is no choice right now. Your consumer needs you digital. They need you. And I'll cross to Madison on this one. Matt, can you just explain what you do with your Facebook group for selling real estate?
Yeah, so, I mean, we were already pretty digital, so now we've taken it to that next level, which is great. But our digital Facebook group has been one of our best selling methods for real estate at the moment. So it is a closed group. It creates that feeling of I'm a part of something that, you know, it's not public, it's not on realestate.com, it's not in Domain. They're actually sent an invitation to be a part of our community that is private. But it gives them the opportunity to see properties in their raw form. So it's all about trust and transparency when you're presenting properties like this. So we're not using glossy photos, we're not digitizing the lawn, we're not doing all of those things that, you know, have been glossy for so long. We're being more raw, and it's more engaging, I guess, when you're, you know, sending a raw iPhone shot, the best that you can obviously get it, but, you know, some raw iPhone photos of the property that's coming on the market. They can send us a text or give us a call to say, look, I want to have a look. And usually they're coming through while we've got the photographer there or we've got the floor plan there. They're actually a part of our River family by being in that group. So it's created.
How many in that group? Is that it's not a big group?
It's not huge. It started off very, very little, but I think we're tracking it around 1,300 at the moment. But I guess the good thing with that group, unlike a database, is you might have 30,000 people in your database that is totally irrelevant. But this group, people can jump in and out of it as they please. So if you're not looking for property anymore, out you go. So there's 1,300 people in that group that actually want to be there, which
really
I find
interactive.
fantastic. Yeah, definitely.
And just to set the stage, Madison, so you're in real estate in what part of New South Wales?
New South Wales, in Maitland. Yep.
Maitland. And in which office?
River Realty is our office.
River Realty. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to call this now. You may well be looking at one of the greatest real estate agents in the country. Time will tell, but I've got a feeling by hearing you talk that you're a chip off the old block, 2 blocks back. So unbelievable. So Madison, I've got a question for you in relation to what you've just said. Tell me, it's very hard, and this is for our viewers that are watching, it's very hard being established in business and trying to understand the whole digital thing and how it applies to our world. And then it must be equally as hard being so proficient with digital, trying to understand how it happens in the real estate world. So it seems like we've actually all got, whether you're young, you've got challenges on selling on digital. Whether you're old, you've got challenges on selling on digital. They're different challenges, but it's almost like where I feel like I'm a little bit disabled that I can't, to understand digital because it's changing so quickly because I'm a bit older in the industry. Your generation must find it similar in a way. You're so proficient with digital, and it's like you've got to get all the real estate 101 talent thing going. The question that I've got for you after that observation is, what do you see as the holes and the changes currently now that, like, because they'd be different to Dad's ones. What do you see as the challenges
in our current marketplace?
Yeah, digital.
I think, digital, I haven't really seen them as challenges. If anything, the biggest challenge for me is working in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I've never seen a marketplace like this. So for me, digital's actually been my go-to. It's the only thing that I've been able to lean on, grow in and learn to get us through this marketplace. So yes, it's been challenging to, I guess the biggest challenge is educating our marketplace that are a little bit older. So, to hand a 70-year-old an iPad and say, bid on this property, it's going to auction in 6 minutes, place your bid here and press go, is so different for them. They've never had but no one has bought a house off an iPad ever. So it's educating our elderly marketplace on, to get that trust. I mean, eBay for property has been new for everyone, let alone, like I said, an 80-year-old on an iPad. So it's really just been that education process that we've had to roll out across the board. And I think with digital, once people understand it, it's easy. It's not, there's not, that hesitation in trust or transparency. Once they know it, it's good.
Like Zoom's a great example of that lately.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. And if anything, I think the pandemic has been one of the best things for the real estate industry, because the way that we work now was not the way we were working before, but we will never go back to how we used to work. So
I reckon a lot of industry. I reckon you're spot on there, and I reckon most industries. I think at the moment, it's too early to call it a gift horse. It sort of hurts a little bit, but yeah, you're right. I reckon that it's what's happened and what it's forced us to do without wanting to do it. The residual's very, very good.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, just on that, one of the techniques Matt and Chris have been using is timed auctions. So you don't even need the auctioneer to have active live bidders follow a property or register for a property, but they've actually got an option now where they say, you can say to an owner, do you want to sell the property with a ceiling price or a non-ceiling price? Or we want to get as much money as we can. Well, let's run it as a timed auction and a coming soon campaign for the first 2 weeks. Let's see what bids we get. Let's see what the interest is. If it's up where you want to be, we can sell. If not, we'll know how to set a price by seeing what the reality was digital. So using an auction for coming soon to private treaty to price it is a complete flip of strategy we've never seen before. And because it's not a public street theatre thing, the consumer has to register to either follow or bid on the property, which means it's a digital registration. And then if Matt clicks on one of those properties, you can see all the people following it. There is your buyer sellers. There is your potential business coming up for future business, all in digitisation, and you haven't even left the house.
That's his next level. But, it's like you said earlier, it's still 101 it's still 101 sales, real estate, or 101 sales, but it's just being facilitated with all this digital around you. But what Madison was saying, educating people is actually the key in the whole bloody thing, because once you've educated them once, they'll keep that going and going and going to that pattern. That's interesting.
Well, Madison's also supporting a senior agent who's been around for a long period of time, who's plugging and playing into their systems. And this guy's, let's just get on the lawn and do the auction. Wonderful, incredible senior agent. And then Matt comes in as leverage agent to say, look, let me pop it on Facebook. Like, oh, where are all these people coming from? So you're seeing a nice blend.
I'm not talking about Chris, by the way.
Not Chris.
Oh, I was getting excited.
Chris is modern, but another one of their senior agents who's not from the tech time. How old would he be?
Probably mid-60s. Like I handed him an iPad to check in, and he's like, "No, I'm good. I've got my pen and paper.
I'm good. But he could also, and you'll appreciate this, Mark. There's someone in their 60s who's a seasoned sales real estate professional, has product knowledge and history of the area that no one can gather overnight. Yes. And then suddenly says to Madison, where are all these people coming from? She goes, I posted on Facebook. Oh, look at them all. You know, he's so excited.
We're talking about an agent that doesn't work past 1 o'clock, and his prospecting is the local pub in Morpeth. The commercial hotel is his prospecting platform.
But he's now got a digital morning.
He's the best storyteller in town. And
everyone knows Mark from Morpeth.
If he took that digital, that would be even... You know what? I've been saying it for years. I've been saying that the best storytellers in the country are actually rural real estate agents. I don't know if you guys are quite rural. I don't think so. But rural real estate agents would be... If I ever get a country real estate agent, I always walk away with a big smile on my face. Yeah. And I thought to myself, if they went onto Facebook and told the story on a regular basis, I'd be up for it. I'd be watching. So I reckon... A guy like that, digital, wow. Yeah.
He's a really good guy. You learn a lot from agents like that, though. You know, with a world that's so busy, full of technology, and you've got this platform, that platform, you've got cameras here, there, everywhere. Just to bring it back to a notepad, and how real estate, I guess the basics of real estate is all Mark is. So he grounds me a lot, which is great. And then you've got the other side of river, which is, trailers and lights, camera action, and then going back to Mark is just a good earthing when you're talking about real estate.
It's pretty cool.
When we talk about DNA, I'm just sitting here in your wonderful multimedia studio looking at all your toys and gear, which is now happened to become, being a multimedia agent is now a reality today, and your phone's a multimedia studio. If you look at DNA, I grew up, as you started this interview, in my mum and dad's band, surrounded by cables, microphones, lights, and smoke machines back then, and flashbots. and today, I still think I need a smoke machine, by the way.
And there's your daughter sitting next to you going, oh, fuck, this old just fuck, here's his story again. Here we go.
Yeah, and then Madison grew up watching me doing the Hot Topics program for 20 years. So she would walk into the studio and she might want a Milo or something before bed, but she knows to wait till the track's over to interrupt. So, so she'd walk into the studio and know I'd mid-flight. I could be doing an interview with John McGrath and I'm going full steam. And she waits for the track. By the way, can I have this? Yes, you can. And now to be in real estate with multimedia on Facebook doing digital, it's an amazing thing that no one thing happens in isolation within your life. And our parents, they're all in us. It doesn't matter what you try and do or not do. You'll always catch yourself in the mirror and there's the Novak. And you see that and think, wow, no one thing. And I look at some of my best agents today. They're also a karaoke singer, or they were a bouncer, or they've come from a people game. They've hosted trivia at the pub or something. And anyone who's not afraid of people can do very well in this industry today. And I say that to attract more people who think, oh, I can't do real estate. That's a different thing. Real estate's a multimedia position today. And if you can play with cameras and communicate through digital and still be good in person, you've got a phenomenal chance at one of the greatest jobs on the earth.
Yeah. And also, it's interesting because you really push the boundaries, and this is something I was talking with Shad Hassan last night about as well. You really push the boundaries with training and education and hot topics very, very early. So you were almost like the digital you started the whole digital thing, getting that out to the mass market. And what's incredible is how it just actually, the evolution of it played out. the 20-year evolution of what you did just went compressed, and within 2 years it went not just audio, but it went visual, and it went to live audiences around the world. Like, what a change, how much is changing so quickly, but your craft is still your craft.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what you're good at, your magic is still your magic, but it's an exciting platform for people to be able to get that out with rapid fire.
Do you know what's interesting about that? When John McGrath and I started Hot Topics, every agent would wait for the CD to come in the mail. They'd pop it in their CD deck when cars used to have one, and they would play it on replay until the next one came out. So I look at that and think, we had our own personal channel, and back then studios were 10 grand a day. So the barriers of entry were hard. You couldn't follow us unless you really had some money to put down and back yourself. Whereas today, there is 10 million channels a minute, and you can do it on your iPhone. So as a digital disruptor early, our biggest competitor now, Mark, is free. So when you are, in my world, that you are seen as a professional senior agent and people pay to be a subscriber to your work, which is great, that CD time was just amazing. And Madison and Chloe and all the kids were packing CDs and envelopes. That was their weekend job. And they go, there's too many. I go, no, there's not. We got thousands of listeners who are excited. And you'd see the mail out go out of the CD, and it was a marketing moment where you think, watch everything, boom now. The seminars will be full. And today you can do that by 8:30, whereas, it would be a 5-week turnaround to do a show. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Something like today could go out to 1,000 people, could go out to a million people. The job doesn't actually change. You're not packing more CDs or anything like that. It's just...
Or pressing.
It just goes forth and multiplies.
Yeah, that's right.
Incredible. So anything else, Dad, before we close up the show, waking up with the Woodwards?
No, but I would say Mad's a good example of the future of real estate. So all mums and dads out there who think, I don't think my children will follow me in real estate, they're not really into property. Are they into social multimedia marketing jobs along your side? And if someone's a ninja on Facebook, loves videos, I look at some of these videographers today, Mark, that do the skateboard work. So I'll watch a skateboard video from one of the kids and think, who shot that? I want to meet that person. This person's incredibly talented. And you find out they're working at Coles or Macca's. They could be in a real estate business, give them the toys and cameras, doing their dream job. We've got to not think multimedia is just about those who went to film school. Multimedia is about those who've got a passion for getting a message out into the marketplace. And that's a new role in real estate now, is the multimedia support person, the multimedia marketing agent. And then there's the agent who does the negotiation. But some of these senior agents, if I went back into management or sales management today, I'd do multimedia for all agents, and I'd get them into places they could never get to. And I'd generate 5 appraisals a week for each agent, purely on they're not getting into the spots they could. I know how to get them into the spots. And a digital agent will go, oh, Lee, I've never been so busy in my life. These are great appraisals. Yeah, you've been a secret in the digital world. Now they know who you are.
That sort of reminds me of Lisa Novak.
Oh, yeah. She's a frightening example of... Well, Mad's actually here at your wonderful agency today because we've got the Lisa Novak Part 2 Real Estate Hot Topics interview coming to you today, meaning we're recording today. That'll be edited and published and out probably late next week. And
that's pretty interesting because that's almost what she's doing. She's got this wonderful audience which really interacts heavily.
She's got a huge following that was real estate agents and wanted to speak to someone who's a working mum, who's a business owner, who's passionate about real estate, come from, not the traditional sales background. Lisa's very good at being Lisa. That's what I really, really enjoy about when I did the first interview with her. And then obviously always wanted to recheck in down the line because everyone, when I first did that interview, Mark, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but that'll all wear off. It has escalated. It has gone through the roof.
It's been like a fireball. Yeah. It's been like a fireball. It seemed, in the industry. Like I know even now with the amount of traction we're getting locally for people that want properties, number one, but number two, California and UK. Absolutely, the amount of interaction we have with those guys from those places is just incredible. So it seems like there's parallels in the market. They seem like pretty keen and adaptable for the information for what we're doing. So it's to think that, that we would have gone out and helped those sort of people around the world on a professional level. It's just weird, eh? Like, if, when Lisa did that Hot Topics with you, if you were to say that to me, I'd say, nah. Like our numbers just the last month of what we're seeing, like we will do, I looked at it when I was talking to Shad, actually. We would have, I think it was about 1 million minutes consumed in a month just off our Novak channel.
That's channel to market.
Yeah.
And I divided that up to a television show that's normally has commercials. So I think I said it was about 30 minutes for a 1-hour television show, when you consider the commercials in there. And I divided it up and I said to Shad, it's this many thousand episodes. We both just went, oh, Jesus Christ. That's, it's to think that's just one of our channels that are going out. So there's the Lisa Novak channel, there's the Novak Properties channel, there's the Angelo Guccios channel. The agents out there are getting information out. But you know what's interesting, Lee?
What's interesting?
Everyone loves the topic.
Yeah.
At a barbecue, I was at a builder's house yesterday, and all the builders were talking about property.
Yeah.
I walked in on it. So yeah, it's very relevant.
It is. And, in a listing scenario, the owner's looking to engage any agent as not just an agent anymore, but as a channel to market. There's a lot of noise out there. So I watched some of those videos you did this week on the Brookvale factories and what they rent for and so forth. Now, I've got no interest in a Brookvale factory, but I saw the one with the mezzanine floor in the 800s a week and think, geez, that's pretty good. Who do I know? Know someone who says, oh, Lee, we're moving our small food business to Brookvale. Hey, there's a great one there with the mezzanine. It's $819 a week. I saw the video yesterday. I'll share it with you. And I'm nowhere near Brookvale. But that just shows you the power of media.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. If you were thinking I'm going to make a move, or if there's someone anywhere around Sydney, you've just spoon-fed a shitload of data to that person to make a decision. It's very weird. It's very cool though. I know when I shot that, I was really excited about it to be able to tell people. And before I was restricted to a floor plan photos and real commercial, and it was like fingers crossed. I hope this gets out there to the right person. But now I feel like I'm doing that still, but now I feel like it's a bit more power to the people if they want that information.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys. Madison, I'm very excited. I didn't realize. What a chip off the old block you are. You're gonna be an absolute weapon out there. If you choose to be, of course. But wow, yeah, amazing. And Lee, wordsmith, absolute industry icon, weapon. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll speak. You're wondering how to turn it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. On the bottom of the screen where it says more, where you clicked on, go
I'm
there.
I'm going to drive this. Yeah.
Go, Madison. Go. Leave it to the younger people. So bottom of the Zoom screen, more, and that will end the live. Hey, see you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.